Hey you guys, it's Abby and I am here for part one of your three-part free video series. And this video series is all about how to find balance and make peace with food so you can have your best summer yet, where you're free of struggling with food anxieties and then food police in your mind, and you're able to go out with friends and family, enjoy the foods you want to enjoy in moderation, and also we'll talk about how to appreciate and love yourself more than you ever have before, and how that goes hand in hand with your relationship with food. If you know my story, no problem. I'm just going to do a quick recap. I struggled for almost 4 years with the up and down roller coaster of binging and restricting, of trying every fad diet possible, thinking there was something wrong with me and that I just needed more willpower and self-control around food because I kept overeating or binging or feeling like a failure and not being able to stick to my diets. Well, needless to say, there was nothing wrong with me. I just needed to learn how to have balance with food and how to eat normally or intuitively again. And I remember specifically one summer, the summer after my senior year of college. It had been about 3 years in college of me hardcore dieting, stressing about food, not wanting to hang out with friends, not having as much fun as I could. And one summer I hit my breaking point when I went to the Minnesota State Fair with a bunch of my family, and I had done this like detox or cleanse days leading up to that state fair with my family. And I told myself going there that I would not eat anything there, like the greasy food or cookies or ice cream or anything. I told myself, you can't have anything there. Well, I got there and I totally broke. I had a bite of a cookie and ended up eating like this whole bucket of cookies and then anything else I could get my hands on. And I went to bed that night just bawling. Like, this is not what life is supposed to be about. Food should not cause this much turmoil in my mind and in my body and so on. And so I, right then and there, made a commitment to myself to find balance with food and to start helping as many women as I could get out of that diet mindset and into a place of balance and eating intuitively and listening to our bodies again. Because as you know, when we do listen to our bodies, we do respect and appreciate and honor our body's hunger cues and signals, then it will respond. So with that, after about a year of researching and struggling and making mistakes and learning about eating normally again, I decided that I needed to become a nationally certified health coach, and that's what I did. And I started working with as many women as possible to help them overcome similar mindsets with food or the stress that food can cause. So the moral of the story is that you don't have to spend multiple summers like I did glommed to other women that are obsessed with dieting, and you don't have to spend another summer where you're fighting the urge to go out with your friends because you're scared of the temptation of the food and the drinks that will be around, and instead you're isolating yourself. You don't have to spend a summer where you're binging and feeling less than or not deserving or not confident in your skin. And so my hope with this video series is that you can take away a few things that you can put in place in your life immediately so that your summer is the best summer you've had yet. So before I get into the training, let me tell you what's coming. I'm going to share with you a few key points that you can take away today that will help you find balance with food over the summer, and so you can have the best summer you've had so far. I also want you to take a moment right now and just give yourself some credit for even being here, for watching this, for sticking it out, and obviously being aware that there's something you'd like to make a change with, and for taking action on that. And something you'll notice is that people who do take actions get results. So the same thing happens with finding balance with food. If you watch this video and don't do anything with the information that's shared, then you won't make any changes, right? So first, give yourself credit for even being here, and second, implement some of the things that you learn from this video series. All right, let's get into the training. Tip number one is to rephrase your thoughts. This sounds so logical, so simple, so basic, and so easy, but it's not easily done, especially if you've been in the trap of the diet mindset and mentality for so long. You really have to consciously and actively retrain your brain so that eventually your actions are totally different than what they are now. You might be bogged down with feelings of, I can't eat that, I shouldn't eat this, I'm gonna fail on my diet, or following all these rules that aren't realistic. And so now you've got to take a few steps back, start peeling the layers of the onion or whatever you want to say off so that you can get to the core of how you want to feel and how you want to interact with food and your body image. So with rephrasing your thoughts, you are retraining your brain. You're trying to think in a different way and intervene so that over time, thinking differently about food becomes natural for you. And something I want to point out is that how we think is how we act. What you say to yourself predicts how you are going to behave. So if you think that out of routine events, or if someone randomly calls you up to go out to eat or something is going to cause you to binge or overeat, then that's what's going to happen. For me, it was always the weekends. Like come Friday, I just knew that I would break all my rules and go crazy. So what happened every Friday? Exactly that. I would break all of my rules and go crazy. Looking back, if I could have rephrased my thoughts, intervened when I started thinking those things and started telling myself things like, I can eat all foods I love in moderation, the weekends are no big deal, I'll just listen to my body, those types of things, I wouldn't have had as big of an issue with the diet strict during the week and then binge on the weekends and repeat that over and over. But once I did consciously start changing my thoughts, changing the course of my thought process, my actions slowly started to change. This took practice though, and it didn't happen overnight, and this type of talking and thinking didn't become natural for me right away. So be consistent with it and practice it. So now we're going to go through a little exercise to kind of cement this idea of rephrasing your thoughts. You're going to get out a piece of paper and a pen and write down one negative thing you find yourself saying often to yourself. Write it down. I'll get my paper. What I used to say to myself all the time is, my thighs are fat. And so what you're going to do, you already saw, you're going to cross off what you said. Now, I know this can seem a little cheesy and like rah, okay? But just do it because it helps, it works, it gets you right on that focal point of being able to change your thoughts. Then you're going to rephrase it. You're going to physically write out how to rephrase it. And I wrote, my legs are strong and feel best in pants that fit. Silly, yes, I know. But again, it drives the point home that you are rephrasing, retraining your brain. Now, to drive this point home even further, set an alarm or an alert in your phone or write a note in your planner to start using this phrase that you just wrote down instead of the old negative phrase that you constantly say to yourself. This week, actively add this thought into your daily life, into the conversations that go on into your head, and just see what happens. See what adjustments and little changes you make because of that one thought that you are starting to use. Will this change everything? No. But practice over time, it will so help. Let's move on to our next tip. In the summer, it seems like there are more opportunities to dine out or go out and eat and drink on a patio or to have friends over for a barbecue or a grill out. And these things can cause stress for those of us that struggle with issues with food, right? And they don't have to cause stress. That's the beautiful thing. And so this one tip I'm going to share with you today can help you in those future situations of navigating finding balance with food in the summer. So if you are going out to eat, what I want you to try is to ask yourself what you're craving before you get to the place, before you look at the menu, before you go to the party or whatever. Then when you are there, get the thing that is as close to your craving as possible. And this is for a couple reasons. One, you'll feel more satisfied because you are honoring your body. When you feel more satisfied, you don't reach for more food to fill yourself up to get to that point of satisfaction because you've given yourself what you're craving or really close to it. Along with that, you won't feel deprived if you give in to what your craving is in that moment because you won't be restricting yourself. And if you're not feeling deprived, you're less likely to binge or overeat later. Because when you start to feel deprived, like you're not letting yourself have something or you're limiting yourself, that deprivation will only lead you to overeating or binging. It might not happen that day, it might happen the next day or a week later, but either way, deprivation builds and leads to a big binge or overeating. And now I know I said I'd share one tip in this area, but one other thing you can really focus on next time you're going out to eat or this summer is to really engage with the people around you. Ask questions that you're interested in. Make conversation that is intriguing and enticing and exciting for you. If you're truly engaged, food will become secondary, and the people and the reason that you are there will become primary, which is what you want. You want your attention and energy and fulfillment to come from the people around you instead of the food. Now, I know you might be thinking, yeah, these tips are great, but I'm never going to have a summer where I'm not binging, or I have to be on a diet in order to be in a bikini. I have to be on a restrictive diet in order to be on a bikini. I have to be on a diet in order to lose weight. If I'm not on a diet, I'll lose all control around food. Or maybe you're thinking that you want to feel confident in your skin, but you don't think you can do that by just listening to your body. And you're not sure you can eat all things in moderation or enjoy one bite of something without going overboard. Or maybe you're known as like the healthy person or the diet and fitness person, and so you don't want to be seen as someone who's now going to be eating all the foods you love in moderation. And let's be honest, you might be scared of this change and transition and new way of thinking. And that's totally legit. Those are all the things that I felt, but I'm walking proof, and so are the other women that I've worked with, that you can overcome that fear and anxiety that is involved with transitioning from the diet mindset to a more mindful, intuitive, and normal relationship with food. So I want you to keep an eye out for the next video, which will come in 2 days. It's the second part to this free self-love summer video series. And I'll share with you how to maintain or not gain excess weight during the summer while still making peace with food, what to do if you're considered the healthy diet person, the go-to person for fitness and health tips and ideas, but now you're wanting to shift into finding balance with food. I'll also share why you don't need the control that you feel when you're on a diet and how to actually start eating normally. So I have a couple things I'm going to ask you to do before we close up, and that is to either email me back, comment on an Instagram post, or on Facebook or my blog, wherever you're seeing this, and let me know your thoughts. Like, what do you struggle with during the summer? Are these tips that I'm sharing so far helpful and useful for you? And the last thing I'll ask you to do is to check out my friend Paige at healthyhitsthespot.com. Her awesome blog. She's doing a very similar free summer series where she's sharing valuable information that you can use immediately in your life to start being a more balanced and intuitive eater so that summer is exactly what you want it to be. So that's all I have for you in this video. I can't wait to see you in video number 2. It's going to be awesome.